Right guys, as you'll have seen there, we've just got the car masked up. Tom is just finishing off a few final touches around the front. Once Tom's finished off there, I'm going to roll the car over. Pretty much masked up all the areas we needed to. I've put some bolts in any threaded holes just so we don't fill those with the underseal. So we're going to roll this over now. Let's get this underseal blasted on the car and we'll move on to the next stage. Right, so that's the underseal all done. That's come out pretty well, considering. Again, it ain't perfect, but it is the underside of the car. The only person that's going to see this is the MOT man once a year, so that'll do for us. So yeah, pretty happy with that. We've got all up inside the front panel and everything as well. We've masked off an edge around here. That's where it's going to go into body colour, obviously, to tie in with the engine bay. That's been primered. So the next stages for this build now is going to be, Tom can crack on and start to prep up the roof, get some filler in the roof, give it a quick light skim, get it all nice and shaped up. A little bit more work to do on the rear quarters, and then we can start to fit the body kit permanently. But before we do that, we're going to start to strip down these cross members. So again, as I've explained on the previous episode, we are only using the springs out here, so we just need to split the upper and lower arms to release those springs. Everything else can stay on there. So this is our replacement cross member. I'm going to take this completely apart because we are going to be poly bushing this, so all these bushes in the upper and lower arms and the rear subframe mounts are all going to be in polyurethane. So this does need a little bit of cleaning up, so I'm going to completely blow this apart, get it in the vise, start to prep up all these arms. There's a couple of welds that need grinding back where it's been strengthened up, so we're going to be cracking on with that. The engine is pretty much ready to go in. Tom's just painting some bits on here, which he's got over at our body shop at Middleton. So we've got the backing cover, the timing cover, the rocker cover, and the power cap is all going to be painted in white on this motor. I think the white will tie in really well with the silver and the orange that the car is going in. So this is a C20XE. This engine's been completely rebuilt. It's had all new shells, pistons, crank. It's all been reground and polished. It's had a recon head, so that is pretty much a brand new engine internally. Other than the cams are used, but they do not look old at all. So that's all pretty much ready for dropping in once the car is in paint. So let's crack on guys, let's get these cross members taken apart, let's get this in the vise, get it tidied up, and then we can move on to the next stage. across a bit of a good find here. So this is our replacement axle, what we're using. That's got a limited slip diff in it, a ZF LSD, as I've mentioned on another episode. So that's the axle that's going to be going on this car. We have had this previously blasted and primed just to stop it rusting. Obviously we will be repriming it and painting it again. So as you can see there, Kev's turning the half shaft and they're both going in the same direction. Now, we was going to get these half shafts machined to a 5B120 to do our 5-stud wheel conversion. However, we've just found this in our parts supply which has already had a 5-stud conversion on it. So what we're going to do is pull these half shafts out of this axle, because this is a non-LSD axle. So we're going to use these half shafts in that axle, so that'll give us a 5-stud limited slip rear axle. So that is a good find. We've also got some stuff being painted as we speak, so hanged them in the most randomest places, but we are a bit stuck for room in here, so I've got some heat going on these now. These are in primer, so I've blasted these top arms, now primed them. They're going to be ready for some black paint very soon. We've got our lower arms here already polybushed, all strengthened, poly bushes are in, these are ready to go on the car, and I've got our cross member hung up here, all been painted as well. So that's just drying off now. And then once those top arms are dry, we're going to be fitting our poly bushes, and as you can see we've got some stuff out here on the bench, so we're just going through all this now, going through all our poly bushes, through our trap rod ends, upper ball joints, lower ball joints. We've got our rear trailing arms here which I've just run through the blaster. They're going to want painting, and it's already poly bushed these, but they don't match the other bushes we're using. We're using these Strong Flex yellow bushes, so we're going to be putting the yellow Strong Flex bushes in here as well, just so it all adds, sort of ties in together, all looks right, all matches. So we've got our steering rack here as well. However, we have noticed that the bush on this one is quite knackered and it is splitting. There's a couple of cracks in that rubber, so we have pulled out another steering rack. The gaiters on this one are absolutely perished as well, so we have found another rack which is in much better condition. The rubber's in much better condition than the other one, it's a lot more solid, so we're going to be giving this a bit of a refurb up and reusing that. Right, so what I've done here guys, we've just literally took the bolts out of the half shaft bracket, and then we've got a homemade slide hammer, big heavy slide hammer made from various different bits of Manta parts many years ago. And what we're going to do now is knock these half shafts out with the slide hammer, because they are pushed in there pretty tight on the bearing race, so this should come out now with this slide hammer. There you go. Probably tight on this, a little bit of rust on it. There it goes nicely. Right, so that's our half shafts in. We're just now going to pop off the rear diff plate. We're going to have a look what diff is in here. We're thinking it's a ZF, so we're going to pop this off and just assess that, see what type of diff's in it, get the numbers off it, so we can work out the ratio. This has been changed for a thin aluminium one anyway. But let's have a look. Get your bucket ready and I'll turn it. Have you ever wondered what a slippy diff looks like inside? That is what a Manta slippy diff looks like inside. So we're going to count the teeth on the crown wheel, and then we're going to count the teeth on the pinion, and then we can work out our diff ratio by that. So we're going to put a mark on here, spin this around, and start to count how many teeth there are.
I'll spin, you count.
So we'll count that as 1. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, 25, 26, 27, 28, 29, 30, 31, 32, 33.
So,
well, this one's going to be a little bit more difficult to access.
let's see if we can find
a mark on it to go on.
down there. Yeah, there.
$89 it says on that for some reason.
There we go, there's another mark. Just count the teeth.
So,
Do it.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 8.
8. 33 divided by 8. Quick maths. That's fucking...
4.125. 4.125.
That's really high. It's going to make it scream its tits off at 70 miles an hour. It's going to be doing 6,000 at 770, something like that. But it'll get to 70 quick.
That'd be a lot of fun. Just don't take it on the motorway.
Just don't take it on the motorway.
We're changing the rear diff cover on this car for one of these thinned type diff covers. So that will drop on there and look a lot nicer. Now, what we did figure out on a previous build with these is that you actually have to cut some of these fins down on an angle, because what happens is when the car bottoms out or when you're going over bumps, this actually impacts the bottom of the car. And we had an issue once on the orange car that I shown you on the last episode, where it actually cut through the wiring to the fuel pump and blew the fuse, caused the car to cut out. So we've learned that lesson, so what we will have to do is cut some of these fins down on this one, right across the top edge there, just to give it a little bit more clearance for the bottom of the car. Right, so this is now the following day. Tom's been cracking on, doing a bit of filler work and getting this engine bay prepped. We just started moving into the roof to find any highs and low spots in there. We've got all our components over here, all painted up. All painted up, bushed up, all the poly bushes are in, cross member has all been painted. We've got our cotton reel engine mounts bolted on there now, ready to accept the engine once all this is together. We've got our poly bushes ready to go in the trailing arms and our panhard rod. We've got all our strengthened arms here, all painted, ball joints all fitted, poly bushes fitted, and we've also got the upper ball joints fitted in those upper arms as well. Diff pan cover now on. And as we explained earlier, we've had to trim some of these top fins off because they stick out too far and they actually contact the bottom of the car. So as the car's bouncing, this contacts the boot floor, and we've had an incident with this in another car where it actually chopped through the wiring to the fuel pump. So we've had to skim them off a little bit just to give a little bit of clearance, but that is now done. Again, we're going to look into our brakes next on this. We can throw together all our cross member and the rear axle, bolt all that together. We're going to put some new pinion seals in the gearbox and the diff. And then we've got our fully rebuilt engine there, as we've already shown you. So on the next episode, hopefully, we should be able to make some really good progress with this. We've sent all our nuts and bolts off to the zinc platers. So when they all come back, they'll all pretty much look like this, nice and gold. So it'll have a full set of nice shiny gold bolts in there as well. So all that can go together. Our rear axle can go together. Tom is going to have this engine bay painted in orange and done by the end of the week. So that will then allow us to get all our front cross member back in, drop the engine in, get the axle, back axle on. This car can then go back on the floor and we can start running our wiring loom. We can run all our brake pipes and everything. We'll actually do that while it's on its side. Well, it's easier to get to, so we'll run all the brake lines, fuel lines, drop the engine in, then get the car on the ground, and then it's over to Tom. Tom can get this whole car all prepped up, primered and ready for paint, and hopefully in the next couple of weeks this car will be in paint and it should start coming together pretty quickly. We're going to leave this one here, guys. Again, we hope you've enjoyed this episode. I think you'll all agree this car is coming along rather quickly and it's looking pretty damn good. Drop some comments, let us know what you think. As always, don't forget to hit that subscribe button, give us a like, give us a share, and we'll see you all on the next video.